What we have here is the oh, actually hold on a minute. Oh dear me. Anyway, as I was saying, what we have here is the Dinka Jester, and can you tell I quite like the noise it makes. So this is on offer this week with the GTA Online weekly update, and this is one of the top offers of the week in my view, even though it's probably one of the cheapest cars you will ever pick up in this game. And why is that? Well, this is 175,000, which is practically free. It's a time trial and a couple of liquor stores. So why am I re-reviewing this when I've already done it once and it's a relatively cheap car? Well, it was a long-time viewer and regular contributor DeadmanDownUnder that said it's not the standard Jester that's on offer this week. No, it's this one. So yeah, the one you can pick up this week for 175 grand is the race car variant. And the question asked was, is there actually any difference? To which I said, well, luckily, I'm blessed
with an IQ of 6,000, the same IQ as 6,000 PE teachers.
So never once turn away from a challenge, I decided to find out if there is any difference between the two. So that is the first of this week's two shoutouts. Obviously to DeadmanDownUnder, I have shouted out his stuff loads of times. He does great guides. You really should check him out. If you haven't checked him out already, then you absolutely must. And the second one, if you like the introduction you just saw, that is all down to Benny's Original Motorsports. Now again, I've shouted his channel out many times, and he was good enough to spend a bit of time with me on a call going through how he uses the Rockstar editor, and I've got to admit the results for that intro were fabulous. So massive shout out there. If you like what you saw, don't thank me, head over to Benny's Original Motorsports, drop him a sub and drop a like on some of his videos. You will not regret it. They are absolutely top quality. Anyway, back to this car, and I set myself a bit of a challenge here. So the first thing I needed to do is to make sure that the laps were directly comparable. So as you can see, there's no traffic on this lap, which means that the time that we end up doing is definitely going to be significantly faster than the original time this car posted. So when I tested this car just over a year ago, I believe it did a 9:52, which is not brilliant. In fact, that's actually pretty slow. However, it was an early lap. I'm not going to say I'm better now, but I'm less rubbish than I was at the time. So there has been a degree of improvement. But still, with there being no traffic on this map whatsoever, these times are definitely going to be significantly faster, so we'll have to factor that in. But the reason I wanted to do it that way is I needed two identical laps, because if I was going to see if there really is any difference between these two, I need to show them side by side. Now in terms of handling, I wasn't able to tell any particular difference between the two. At times the one in race trim felt slightly sharper, but the splits as I went through the lap didn't really sort of bear that out. So I wonder if that's a little bit of a placebo effect there, because it's got all the race trim and the livery and the big spoiler all over it. You maybe think it's a little bit sharper when it actually isn't. Certainly off the line there wasn't a significant difference, and as we come round here we'll be able to do a really nice side-by-side comparison of the top speed. Now we should be entering this top speed zone at almost exactly the same sort of speed, because both of these have had a really nice clear run. So let's just speed it up and get there. And here we have my measured mile that I drive as quickly as possible. Follow that up with a little bit of simple maths and you get an achievable top speed, which would normally be through traffic, but as I've said, I turned the traffic off because I wanted a directly comparable lap time. And here's the time they managed to do. And as you can see, there's basically nothing in it. So, should you buy this car? Well, I thought in order to break that down, I would give you 6 reasons why you should buy this car. So let's start with number 1, the price. This thing on offer is $175,000, which, as I said before, that's the standard time trial and a couple of liquor store robberies, and you're done. This is practically free. You hardly need to do any work to earn enough money to get it. And it is a really cool looking thing, and that moves me on to reason 2, which is the performance. Yes, it's not one of the faster cars in the game, but it is one of the original cars from the game, and a lot of the original cars from the game don't get a huge amount of love. You don't tend to see them round and about all that much. But this one, I think, performs really, really well, particularly when we come to reason number 3, which is the handling. I talk about balance a lot when I talk about cars like the Comet SR and things like the Hijack and the Locust. These are cars that have really good balance, where they might not be the fastest cars, but the way the power is sort of measured and the way it comes in really, really suits the car and the way it drives. This is another one of those. It's really well balanced, and it's just really good fun to drive. And that fun is made even better by reason number 4, which is the noise this thing makes. It's just such a raw sound. It sounds like it wants to go. It sounds like a sports car should sound, and that's got to be good enough reason for anyone. But if you need more, do you know what, I'm reaching with this one a bit, but I'm going to say customization. Now, it's not brilliant. There are other cars that have a lot more, but I've managed to make my standard version look really, really nice. And the fact that there is a race car variant as well, although admittedly you do have to buy both of them, that's a pretty cool thing that you can have one of each. And let's be honest, the cost of buying one of each of these is pretty insignificant in a game where the top supercars go for 2.5 to 3 million, almost 3 million these days. 175 grand, you know, nah. And the last reason? Well, I would go with the rarity. As I said before, this is one of the original cars from the game, and as a result it doesn't get a huge amount of love, and it doesn't get a huge amount of use. I can't remember the last time I saw someone else using this car, and I do really like my black one. I tend to use that quite a lot, and I never see anyone else in it. So you can pretty much guarantee, if you pick this up and use it in free mode, you're going to be the only person in the Jester in that session. And do you know what? All the better on you for doing that. So as we come round here are the times that they both managed to do. So as you can see, basically a second in it, which I think I can put a second mostly down to skill issues on my part. I think that would be fair. So I think we can safely conclude there is actually no difference in performance between the standard Jester and the race car version of the Jester. It's all in the looks, and let's be honest, they both look cool. So I think, should you pick this up? Yep, this is a definite one to pick up for me. So here's where it sits on the lapboard. I hope that was useful, and I'll see you all in the next one.